kind of like are watching this, we are on like 5 different like platforms right now,
it's
so
like
we will be
back
looking
and
all
forth.
over. It's like back to you. So we are trying to just talk to as many people as we can right now, and also record, because I think this conversation will just be really good and a lot of good business advice too, and helpful for folks trying to do what Shae has done very successfully. So
No.
I will introduce myself.
No.
My name is Casey. I am the founder and CEO over here at Digital Kairos. We're marketing a growth marketing agency, right? And focus on helping founders like Shae really scale up via Facebook ads, Instagram ads, right? Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, all the paid socials. We do that, but our primary
Yes.
focus is Facebook and Instagram. So with that said, this is not my space. Like I am really just like trying to highlight, especially for Black History Month, the amazing founders and entrepreneurs that I'm so blessed to and humbled truly to work with. So I just want to celebrate y'all this month, highlight y'all, and really just like have these amazing conversations publicly. So I'm super excited. Do you want to introduce yourself really quickly?
Yeah, so I'm Shae and I own Olivia J, which is a tights and socks company for babies and kids. And we just turned 2 on Monday, which is super exciting. And we're just trying to take over the world one sock at a time.
I love it. We're gonna get there. No, but tell us a little bit, Shae, and like I don't even know if I know the like full story, but like we just
Okay.
turned 2, right? So walk me through like
Yeah, how
these
it
2 years.
started.
Like how did we get here?
Okay, so it started after I had my daughter. So I have 2 kids. I have a son and a daughter. And after I had her, I just, for whatever reason, was just obsessed with tights and socks. Like it's like the whole accessories thing. You know, you have a girl and accessories mean a totally new thing, right? And so I was obsessed with them. I wanted to dress her in them all the time, but they never fit right. And it drove me crazy because like they would be good for, you know, a photo shoot real quick with my phone, like get her monthly pictures and whatnot. But besides that, they like slouched, they sagged, they never stayed on, they were uncomfortable for her, they weren't like built to fit her body right, like a child's body. And so I like to this day, I'm like, I blame it on being sleep deprived because Leighton never slept and she still doesn't sleep. And I'm like, for whatever reason, it stuck. And I found a manufacturer and I just went from there with trying to solve this problem that I had asked girlfriends about, and they all had the same issue. And so here we are. It's kind of taken off, especially in the last year. And I feel like every day I'm just like, oh my goodness, like I'm doing this. Like what is going on, you know?
Do you have like
fun.
even just thinking about that, right? You're like, okay, how can I solve this problem? Like, do you have a background in like design? Like, how are you like,
no.
okay, I can take on this problem and solve it, right? Like,
yeah, no, I don't have a background in design. And I actually like, I wish I had my first drawing of a sock, I mean, it's horrible. Like, thank goodness our socks don't look like that. I will like post it every once in a while because like our followers think it's hilarious. I mean, it was so bad, like so bad. And I always say like, I need to just like hang it on the wall, you know, but I had no background in design. Like growing up, I would always have random businesses that I like created. My cousin and we had like our S&S like shop, and you know, we would like make different things, basically like combine a bunch of lotions together and just try to sell it to our moms. Or like in college, I like had an accessories business for hair, and like I would make headbands and bows and whatnot for like sorority friends and stuff like that. But other than that, my background is actually in like the medical field. I'm an ultrasound tech, and so I mean I work in the hospital. I've like hospital life is what I known and like what I've known for the last like 11 years. And so this has been completely new world to me.
Yeah. No, and I have a question on that, but
Okay.
before we get into even what the balance is like, because I think Shae just told us she's still working full time and
Yeah.
managing this. But before we
Yeah.
get into that balance, want to talk about like, all right, so we designed something that looked like SpongeBob or Squidward or
Yep.
something and turn that into a
Basically.
sock. And
Yeah.
then we are now here, 43,000 followers later and everything
Yeah.
like that. Please just kind of like as best as you can, just like walk me through how do we get here?
Honestly, I think it has to do a lot with just like word of mouth and having a product that I like fully stood behind. I think, I mean, at first, I think everyone was skeptical, like, oh yeah, like Shae's creating a sock business, like, woo, you know what I
Including
mean?
Spencer.
Like, yeah, including Spencer. And so I know, but I finally got that like admission from him like a month ago, being like, okay, yeah, I didn't think that this was gonna go anywhere, but this is a big deal now. Like, this is
Yeah.
real. I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think like I mean, it's crazy. Like, I even look at things and I'm like, how did we get here? But I think it has a lot to do with having like a product that I actually stood behind and that I think other moms can agree work well, like as well. You know what I mean? And we really grew a lot by word of mouth. Because I mean, we didn't even run ads or anything like that until a few
Yeah.
months ago when we started
Yeah.
working with you guys. And so this whole like journey has just been like thankfully like grown because of our followers and all the moms and family members that buy their kids our products, which has been
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, and something, and let me even recap that, right? Like Shay just brought up a great point around for the past 2 years, we've been doing this all organically, right? Like we
Mm-hmm.
have just been like growing word of mouth or word of Instagram share has been
Yeah.
helping propel us, right? But I want to call out something that Shay probably will not speak to, which is so sweet. But like if you go look, and I do this, right, as people that I work with, if you go look around at Shay's Instagram, you'll see tons and tons of followers. You'll see tons and tons of comments. And what you'll see under that is Shay replying to all of these comments,
Yep.
interacting with all of these comments, right? Like we talk and she's the one handling all the DMs, talking to all the
Uh-huh.
customers, right? And so even beyond like standing behind the product, which Shay does a ton, right? She stands behind her customers and just like provides such a good experience that then yes, I will go share this company. I will go tag you if I'm a huge influencer and all these things, right? Because I've
Yeah.
had such a good experience, even beyond the socks and how they stayed on my baby, right? I love Shae and like the
Yeah.
service and the experience that I'm getting, right? And I think especially in this digital world, like people forget about the service like aspect of it,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So I really wanted to call that out because it is
Thank you.
something like even Shae and I think a couple weeks ago we were like even outsourcing that, and it's just like no,
Yeah.
it's like
I was like, nope,
that.
that's my thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you go DM Shae, if you go DM the
I
business
will
page,
answer
you'll.
you. I literally do not have DMs that are unread because I like it drives me crazy. I don't know. And I remember like in our first year, I would get so many messages from people like, whoa, I'm so surprised that you actually answered me. And I was like, what? Like,
Yeah,
that is wild. But then like I even saw if I messaged, a company that maybe we wanted to work with or something, and they would get back to me a week later or just not answer. And I was like, what is going on here?
yeah,
That's just something that's really important to me. And I mean, I love our customers, and I always like in our messages, I will be like, I just love you guys so much. Like if I'm responding to someone and I feel like sometimes they're probably like, who is this girl? And why does she always say that she loves
oh,
me? But I
sweet.
do. Like I love, and I mean, I know like all their baby sizes because I still package all the orders. So like I notice when you've sized up, or like I've had people order for friends and I didn't realize it. And I like sent them a message right away, like, whoa, you ordered the wrong size. You know what I mean? Like this will not fit. And they're like, oh, it's a baby gift. So I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. You know what I mean? Because it's important to me. And I think that it goes a long way to have good customer service and that relationship with your followers.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, right? And this is something we were actually talking about. I want to just even summarize, right? Like Shae was able to go 0 to 100 in 2 years, right? And let's not say like, I hate the thing of like overnight success. Like, it takes a lot of work, right? 2 years is also very accelerated. But even that, right? 0 to 100 or 0 to 40K followers in 2 years, right? With a product that solved a problem, right? It's amazing product that solved a problem. And also just Shae standing behind that product and standing behind the customer service, right? Like service is like top tier in scaling brands. And I say all this to say, I run ads, I do ads. I tell people this all the time. I can make you a ton of money with ads and everything like that, but we're not actually building businesses on the back end if we haven't focused on the main like key things, right? The product and the customer service.
Exactly.
So that's amazing. I want to go back to something you were saying before. You work full time and manage every DM, like you just said.
Well, I work part-time. I work like PRN for the hospital, but I usually work probably like once a week ish. But yeah, it's rough answering everything and going to work. Like on work days, I always will like do a story and be like, hey, I'm at the hospital today. So like, do not expect me to answer you back right away because I can't, you know?
I love that.
Yeah, it's hard.
I think even my question is like, all right, 11 years in the medical like field industry, right? Like you have this idea, like what even is just like prompts you to like start a business? Like how do you say like, okay, I'm working, I'm doing all these things, right? Let me also like start a business and then wake up and do this every day for the past 2 years. Like what like keeps you going with that?
Honestly, I love and like cherish all of the relationships that I have like made. Like I think about like all of the other business moms like and boss moms and just like other owners that I've met, and I mean I've made like lifelong friends, like friends I will text every day now. Same with like our followers. I will get Christmas cards like with their kids wearing their tights, like they will send them to me now. And like one of our like original customers from 2 years ago, she dropped off like Valentine's Day stuff for my kids the other day, and it's just like the best. Like I just love like knowing like we can go to a local market and I will have like kids come that are dressed in our stuff just to be like, hey Shae, like look how big they are now. And you know what I mean? It's just I don't know like how to explain it, but like that it's just the best feeling. I don't know, to know that you have like these people that like support you and that are grateful for you, but I'm like so grateful for them. And it's just like the best feeling to like constantly like feed off of each other, I guess, because of that, you know?
No, I love that. And I mean, it just goes back to even the main point I was making a little bit earlier. Like it just is a testament to like you and you showing up in the business and the folks falling in love with you and the products, right? But like you keep people coming back. And like even the point you just called out, like I'm in the hospital and I'll always make a story, right? Like you're putting yourself in the business. And I think we've been talking about this. We've been doing a couple of these segments, and a lot of people that comes through, right?
I've been watching.
Authenticity, like the product, like propel. All of these conversations are outside of ads, right? And just things that we should be doing outside of the ads. So I love that. All right, you made a point earlier. That's then I think how you phrased it was, you know, we've hit our 2 years, you know, and in the last year, like things have really blown up. What's happened, or kind of like what are you pinpointing there when you say in the last year? Like what's been going on in the last year?
Just our like sales have been crazy. I mean, when you start a business, you know, like any sale that you get, you're like, whoa, like that was so good. Like this last month was good, you know? and I was going over with Spen last night. Like, I was like, oh my goodness, like, look at February's numbers of 2019 when we started. And then look at like 2020. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And like, look at this month already. You know, like we've almost like surpassed our sales for our whole first year already in this like past like 2 months, which is like crazy. And I just, like, I don't even know, like, when I even like try to think of like this past year, it's like it went so fast, you know? But I just feel like we're finally on the map. Like, I don't know of a better way to explain that, other than like people now know, you know, we are a Titan Socks company. It's not like, oh, who's Olivia J? Like, oh, I haven't heard of them. Like, people finally know who we are. They know our stuff. So for being in Arizona, obviously tights are not a huge thing because it's so hot here, you know, like it's crazy hot here. And we have lots of people who buy tons of socks, but I mean, I mainly have people in other states. Like, those are our bigger purchasers, I guess. But I will go out and I will see people in our stuff now. And it's like wild to me. You know what I mean? Like seeing stuff or seeing like pictures like come in. We had our like tights were at one of like the inaugural events. Mina Harris's daughters wore them, and I mean, I texted you.
I was gonna
like,
call that out. I was gonna call it out if you weren't gonna call it out. Well, let me re-say that. Like, let me re-say that for the folks, right? Like, we were at the inauguration with it, right? Like, at the inauguration, not on the like on the stage. Like, Kamala is just like right there. With Olivia J. No, I mean,
it was like I'm
gonna repost the picture. I'm gonna repost this picture so you all see this. Kamala's nieces in the stockings on inauguration day, right?
Yeah, like I mean, I like text you. Like, I had a friend that owns a shop, and she had tagged and was like, "Are these your tights?" And I remember like being like, "Oh, what picture did she tag me in?" And then I was like, like, are you kidding? Like, just crying. And Spencer was like, what is wrong? What is going on? You know, why are you crying right now? I don't know. It's just like, it's crazy. Like, and I mean, I had no idea that was going to happen. And like, what, you know what I mean? Like, you just don't know. I don't know. You don't expect something like that. What's funny is like, we sent her stuff maybe like 3 weeks before, and I had even like the week before been like, oh, how cool would it be if they just like happened to be at the inauguration, one of the inaugural events, you know? And my mom was like, you manifested it, you did it, you know?
Me and your mom are always on the same thing.
I know.
Like, you did, right? And it goes back to this whole theme. I like to like put themes in conversation. The theme is like authenticity too, right? Like, folks like want to wear your product. Like, there are other options she could have chose, right? But
for sure.
Like, even your authenticity and your care about the product, like, it just comes through everything. It comes through the content that you post. It comes through the stories and how you engage, right? It comes through you replying to every comment, every DM, right? It comes through the care and the attention to detail on the website and all these things, right? Like, it comes through though. Like, and I love, and I tell you this all every day. Like, I love it. Like, I love it. I want to ask, and now I'm even blinking. I want to ask, I know we've been talking about just like success and like, wow, we've gone 0 to 100 really quick, right? What in that process, right? Like, what have been like some of like the main blockers or hurdles or challenges, right? With scaling this fast?
I think trying to keep up with everything has been like the number one struggle, especially lately. I mean, I'm at the point where like this week I'm like, okay, like we are going to start hiring people to like help. I do everything. I know our followers know this, so like they're like so amazing with like giving me grace for stuff. But I do everything still. And I mean, it's probably because I'm crazy. Like, I tell you this all the time, like, I'm crazy. I'm sorry. Like, certain details, I just like, they have to be done a certain way, you know? And so I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, yeah, I need to hire help just to keep up with orders, especially on drops. I mean, this last week we had one and I was up until like 2 a.m. every single day, and then up with the kids, you know, at like 6.
Being a mom, working, everything. Yeah.
And I worked like a few times at the hospital last week. I mean, I texted you, I was like, what was I thinking? Like having a drop and working at the hospital 2 days in a row, like I've lost it, you know? And so that has been, I think, like the hardest thing, just because it came so quickly, like to where I like am like not drowning completely, but like I'm getting there, you know? And I just trying to like delegate stuff. But I realize that it is important. Like if I want to make sure all of the little details, you know, are correct, I have to delegate, and so that I can stay on top of things better.
And that, I mean, like I'm a business owner too, right? And like even for me, like I care so much. And so like delegation, and I guess that's the answer, right? Delegation is hard. It is hard. But even given the authenticity that comes across, like I'm saying, in the products and the content and everything, right? It will come across to whoever you're looking for, and they will match that, right? Which is what I've been lucky to find some folks that match my care, right? But I love that. The next question I have, and just really curious, what, like, let's say I was just like, I'm sitting at home or I'm at the hospital, right? I have this idea, like maybe thinking about something, maybe I'm like looking at my child, like, oh, I wish they had this, like, right? Like, what advice do you have to like, even just like Shae 2 years ago, or like what advice would you have for somebody like thinking about doing something? They don't come from a design background, a business background. They have just been working at the hospital for 11 years, but they're like thinking about doing something. Like, what advice like would you have for that person?
I would say to just not be afraid, and like imposter syndrome is real. And like it's so easy to like compare. Like I remember starting off and being like, well, you know, there were 2 bigger tight companies at the time 2 years ago, and I remember thinking like, okay, so here's the thing, like if I want to start this, I had obviously shopped at those companies and they weren't meeting my expectations, you know? Like how am I going to be able to do this but still not, I don't know, like you don't want to like step on toes, obviously. But you also don't want to like not do something because you're so afraid of everyone else, right? And so for me, it was really like, okay, Shae, if you're going to do this, you know, like you have to put everything into it and you just have to make it your own thing. Like I try really hard. I mean, I know like our stuff is just different. Like we do patterns and no one else does patterns. The fit is the big thing, you know, like I will get shipments in and like sometimes I'm like, this is not gonna work and I will not sell it, you know, just because like I know my product, I know what like the followers want. I think the biggest thing is to just like not be afraid. As hard as it is, I mean, I've like told you like there are things I'm just like, okay, I'm scared to do this. Like, can I make this next move? Can I do this? You know, but like at the end of the day, the only way you're going to move forward and do whatever you're like trying to achieve is by making that jump. And I think just really like you have to make it your own thing. I like really strive, like I design everything that we release. And so, I mean, you can ask like our followers, I ask 1.5 million story questions. Like our followers are so engaged and like down to colors. We have like Mommy and Me socks releasing soon in a few weeks, which is like a big deal. So I'm like super excited about that. And that's like the first time we've ever had adult stuff before. And I mean, down to like, I was getting ready to like put these socks into production. I had the design down, and I just, for some reason, was like, okay, wait, like maybe you should just ask them like what color, you know, because you want to make sure, like, yeah, I want it to be my ideas, my thought process, but you also are selling to a customer, you know, like it is really important to have their thoughts, right? Their what they want in mind. And so I totally did like polls for like a week. Like I paused like putting in the order to be like, okay, do you want socks that are like this height or this height? Like, do you want this color or this color? And I mean, we did that sock that they picked out. Because,
well, you
know
even
what I mean?
entered, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you even entered production on this Mommy and Me sock because of the audience, correct?
Yeah,
like
correct.
we even got here because of the audience, right?
Yeah, because I would get socks made for Leighton and I, and especially like when we travel, like I just think it's so fun to match her. And so I remember posting, we went on a trip like October of 2019, I think. So it was like that first year we were open. And I remember getting DMs like, wait, like you have adult socks? Like, can I get some? Blah, blah. And I was like, oh no, like I just got samples made for myself. You know what I mean? Like, cause I can. So I have like a few of these, you know, but that's it. And then like I've gotten asked like more and more like, oh, like I just wish I had like tights to match my daughter. I just wish I had socks to match my kids. And now it's just like, it was like really a goal, especially because in spring, you know, we do very few tights. We focus mainly on the socks. And so it was like a big goal of mine, like, okay, by like this year, we have to have socks coming out for moms, like that are designed for moms and kids in mind, that you could wear just your kids, or just a mom could wear them, or just like any adult, you know, could wear them or match. So it's kind of fun.
I love it. So even like the advice, and I love this, right? Even for the advice for the person that was in Shae's shoes 2 years ago, right? I think I heard just like, don't let fear take over. Like easier said than done, right? Because easier said than done, because I'm gonna record or I'm recording this. I'm gonna clip some of this.
You're gonna play it back to me?
Yes. Shae is gonna text me something and I'm gonna send her this footage. But don't let fear take over and take the leap, right? Do your own thing. Like do your own thing. And also the theme that I'm hearing is just like, listen to your folks, like listen to the people that are in your community, whether that's 2 people or 40,000 people, like listen to your customers, right? And, and adjust and make some things to them. I love that. I love that advice.
And I think it's like super important. I mean, granted, there's some things that like, I feel like like we had a pair of tights last season that I was like set on, like, I was like, oh no, this is perfect. I got my nails done. Right. And it like had this like sage green, like plaid design. Right. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is what my next tight is going to look like. I'm not even kidding you. Like, I was like, this is it. And I posted on my stories a picture of my nail. And I was like, should this be our tight for fall? And I remember people being like, no, like you're crazy, you know? But that has been our most popular tight that we've ever sold. So like, I mean, it is important obviously to like make sure like your customers are in mind, ask them questions, you know, but you don't want to like lose yourself, you know, like what makes you you. There are certain things that people will ask me for and I'm like, no, sorry. Like I can't do that because like one, I would never maybe wear that, or I know like if we were to produce that style that like maybe another company has, I'm like, it wouldn't work because they don't stay up on their kids, you know, like thigh high, knee highs, which like sounds weird, but like people want like the over the knee, like socks. And I get asked a lot and I'm like, no, because there's no like every child's leg is different. And I'm like, there's no way that it's going to fit baby A and baby B. And I'm not going to risk having people be like, whoa, this won't stay on my child because they're too tiny, or this is way too tight on my baby's leg. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that, you have to kind of balance. But it's always good, I think, to like ask them
Get
and
that
just
input
see.
and
Yeah.
balance it. Yeah. Yeah. No, I
Mm-hmm.
love that. I love that. I love that. I love that a ton. Even so, don't let fear take over. Take that leap.
Yeah.
In this order. In this order. Do your
Yeah.
own thing. Do your own
Yes.
thing. Like, be true to yourself. Understand who
Yeah.
you are, what you want to put out there, and stay true to that. And listen to the customers in that order.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I love that. I love that.
For sure.
I have one last question for you, and I always like to kind of like end this way. It's just like, what's next? Like, where are we headed next? Like, what's on the horizon?
I know. I honestly have no idea. I mean, I tell you this all the time. I'm winging it. Like, I've had like people message me being like, "I'm starting my shop. What was your like steps?" And I'm like, I am winging it. Like, I am learning probably just as much as you are. You know, like I'm trying to figure it out too. I think by the end of like this year, obviously we want to like try to get a warehouse because my living room is just like not cutting it right now. My kids like think it's a jungle gym and I'm over it. And like I don't know, there's like so many boxes. And then like for fall, there's going to be like 2 to 3 times that many. And I'm like, we just can't. So I think like just, you know, trying to hire out more, trying to expand like warehouse means is next. We would love to get into like department stores. I know like our stuff is good at Nordstrom's. Wink, wink. I don't know. I even have followers now who will tag Nordstrom's on my post, and I'm like, oh, you guys are the best. You know, because I don't know. I think everyone knows that's like my goal, but I just like, I know our stuff is good, and like I know the quality is there, and I hope that's where it will lead, you know, by the end of the year. And we're just like trying to expand. We will have way more types than we've ever had, like, in designs. It's crazy. My shipment actually just arrived of all of like the mocks for fall. Like, we're done with fall already for
I love it.
August, you know, of 21. And so we're about to start designing spring of 22, which is crazy. Wow. And so, yeah, it's just like a never ending thing, but that's kind of what we're seeing, you know, other than winging it. What the plan is for the rest of this year.
I love it. I love it. It's just like when you were drawing out that first little Squidward sock in 2019. I'm going to send you the picture. Please send it to me. Please send it to me so then I can post it with Kamala's nieces. Yes. Make a nice little collage. But like, it is just like, wow, you know, and again, like, one, let me pause here and just like first thank you for your time, but like even just like having these conversations, and like, again, I am so humbled and like blessed to like be able to like talk to you just like weekly and hear these stories. But like, it is amazing, right? Like, we just went from drawing, and please send it to me so I can post it. We just went from drawing to warehouses, designing 2022 and all these things, right? In 2 years, because we didn't let fear creep in, and a number of other things. But I love that. No, but let me wrap it up here. I don't want to use too much of your time. I know you got some activities tonight, but wanted to just first like just thank you so much for your time and just like allowing me to do this and have one of our chats just like publicly. I will be posting these replays all over. I know people are kind of like in and out. I will be posting these replays. What I like to do, because I am trying to just like celebrate the founders that I get to work with. If you go and like share one of these videos where I post it, I will be buying some of Shae's products and sending them to you. So just go share this. But it's a really great conversation, right? So you just never know like what business owner or who you may be helping, just like seeing Shae's story. And I'll be doing that. Shae, I have one last question. I know I said I was going to wrap it up, but if anyone was thinking about working with me, what would you say to them?
I would say that Casey is very driven, and she will not let you like slack on things. No, I only say that because it's a good thing, because like sometimes I'll be like, oh yeah, okay, like sure, and you're like on top of it, you're like, no, like, did you do that yet? Like, come on, like you have to like keep pushing. No, but like you're like just so hardworking and like you can tell like the like love that goes into everything that you do, which is great. I mean, that was like my biggest fear. I met with like one of the people that you like, one of your employees, right, first, and then like with you, and I mean, I was like, I don't know about this, like I've been burned by other companies, I don't know, but like you can really tell like how passionate you are and just like the drive, you know, and you're just so helpful, and it's the best. Like it makes it easy to work with. Like why wouldn't you want to work with me? You know what I mean?
No, I mean, thank you, Shae. I think you know, like I'm just super bashful. I try to ask those questions. I'm super bashful. So no, I do appreciate that.
More.
Please tell me more. No, I really am not. But I appreciate that so much. And yeah, it truly is just like and I think I've said this now 88 times. My mom is probably gonna text me like, "You need to stop saying that." Like, but it truly is just an honor to work with you. So thank you so much for your time. All these replays I was gonna say, I'm waiting posted.
For my mom's text too.
Yeah, no, I love your mom. I have never met your mom, but I love your mom, and I need her to actually text you and tell you to manifest the whole Nordstrom's thing, because the power of manifestation is real, right? But I love it. And thank you just so much for your time, Shae.
Yeah, thank you.
And go enjoy the evening, and I'll be texting you soon.
Okay, sounds good. All right, thank you.
Thank you so